you were supposed to go to some, or not a listing, a showing or something. And I was like, oh shit, she hasn't responded in like 2 or 3 hours. I drove all the way over there.
Why wouldn't I have responded? If I told you that
all
I
the way
was,
over there. It was right in Guilford.
I would have told you if I was worried.
I forget the situation. It was a sketchy situation. All right. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned in to episode 58 of The Real Word.
Good thing you knew.
Well, I just asked 2 minutes ago. Word is up, folks.
Word up.
Word is up.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We missed a week because of you.
I know. Actually, I want to apologize because the video that was on Instagram Live that we repurposed into an actual video episode, what was that, Ness? 56 maybe? 55? 50-something?
Uh-huh.
No, it wasn't 57. Maybe it was. Anyways,
you were in Florida.
that one
was 2 weeks ago.
Kind of sketchy audio.
Yeah.
I missed last week.
You're
all of
orange.
this is 100% my fault. All of it is 100% my fault. So 100% back.
We're here.
We are
freezing
here.
cold though. Like if you had an injury right now, I could cool it. I could do some things with it.
Yes. Well,
it's like ice cubes in
I
here.
pulled my hamstring, so maybe that'll.
Oh, is that why
Literally,
you were stretching?
Yeah, like
You were
was
like
on a
putting your
plane last night,
leg on like my chair, and like you were doing all sorts of weird
things. It wasn't your chair,
things.
it was the community chair.
Well,
Anyways,
whatever.
I'm back. We're
Welcome
full
back.
swing.
Yeah.
Like the real word is happening every single week.
We're here.
As always. We only really missed what, 2 weeks in January? 1 week? 1 week.
One, yeah,
Missed
it was just one. It was just last week.
Okay.
You pulled through. We did it.
So we've got that. What else do we have happening before we get into our rackets? We've got. Well, I've got.
I don't know. I feel like that's a trick question.
I've got something.
Uh-oh.
Maybe.
What do you? Oh gosh.
What?
I don't know. What are we supposed to be? What are we like disclosing?
We've got the new studio coming. We're gonna do a real word from there soon.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we're gonna do a real word
That'll
there.
be fun.
This Friday, you and I are gonna do a podcast for the first time with 3.
Three people in the podcast room. Yeah, because we've done a threesome before. Well, we've done a podcast with 3.
3-person podcast in the past, and I'm gonna get those arms for this studio as well.
Oh, see, I like mine.
I know you like these, but we're gonna
I
go
like
with the
mine.
arms. I like the arms better. If you haven't checked out, I'm gonna just give my own little shout out.
I guess so.
The Byron
Why
Lazine
not?
podcast.
Why not?
Go check that out.
Why not?
You know, can
Why
we
not?
link that up now?
Why not? If you need to buy or sell a house, talk to Byron. If you are looking to invest, call Byron.
No. The podcast.
If you want to read a great blog,
you're gonna
read
be on
Byron.
the podcast.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I get it.
A lot of good agents have, and I think that's interesting to people that are following this. Really successful agents. What are they doing? How are they getting there? We've got Brian, who's a mortgage guy, super successful mortgage guy. Anybody you think that we should be talking to?
I think it's all good stuff.
Yeah.
For 2019.
All right, let's get into the rackets because
We're
nobody
here.
wants to hear about this crap.
No.
So racket number 1 is technology is never the solution. This is an Inman article. We link up all the articles. We'll link this one up, especially if you're in the YouTube world, wherever you are. YouTube world, you'll definitely find it in the description. Technology Never the Solution by Inman on January 14th. Bernice Ross. And here's a couple interesting stats. Let's start it off right here.
Okay.
2018 NAR profile of home buyers and sellers. This is a report from them and their findings to the Harris Insight study. 63% of sellers and 53% of the buyers found their agents through a referral from a friend, neighbor, or relative, or used the agent they worked with before. So there's one, I guess, stat or number that you could say, okay, well, if they're referral based, then technology's not, they're not going through a click funnel, they're not seeing a video and signing up on a form. It's a referral.
Right.
Furthermore, 75% of sellers and 68% of buyers interviewed only one agent that they hired. So that kind of backs up the first side. Got the referral, interviewed the agent, liked them, felt good about my friend's referral, and we signed the deal and we moved forward. Technology may help an agent or company identify who is going to transact now or make it easier to convert a lead into a client. Nevertheless, it's the agent who gets that first face-to-face interview who normally gets the deal, and obviously getting face-to-face first relationship helps.
Right. So it's interesting. So this article obviously is more about getting business, getting a buyer, getting a seller, not necessarily technology as an agent.
Well, meaning using technology to get business, yes.
Right. Because, I feel like...
You're talking about recruiting or systems?
No. Systems. Yep. Totally systems. Because, there's, CRMs. Gosh.
Yeah, because you can get a referral from somebody. Mm-hmm. And that's a good point, actually. Technology is never a solution. Well,
right.
You can, or Vanessa can give me a referral, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, my friend, she's moving from New York here to Connecticut, and you guys should talk to her. Right. And if I don't have the proper notifications to follow up with that referral,
right.
100%, I agree with you.
So again, we're talking more about technology in terms of
getting lead
generation.
Lead gen.
Yes. And I agree. I absolutely agree with this, because even if you are getting leads, are you actually then getting the lead, really, right? It's really about building the relationship, establishing a relationship, being good at relationship building, knowing what questions to ask, getting them to trust you.
I know. Let's break it down a little bit. If you're in the luxury market, for example, they're not going to only interview one person. I know this is the stats and this is the overall market.
Well, but if you look at the numbers, you're talking about what, 50%? It wasn't a large number of people that weren't going to more than one. Look at it.
No, 75% of sellers only interviewed one.
75%.
No, 3 out of 4.
Yeah. Okay.
In the luxury market, you'll find that they do interview 2, 3, 4 people more often than at lower price points. So you've got to always take this as say, okay, what's my business like? What does my town look like? What does my clientele look like? And if you're in a very competitive marketplace, say in Southern California, they're interviewing a lot of people, and then also there's certainly going to be a number of sellers that just know people in their neighborhood and that kind of thing. They're just going to give them the
they're
job.
Just hiring the person that is perceived to be the best. We find that in our marketplace too. There's people that are perceived to be the best. And
what I'll say is technology, if you're in a situation where you're going up against other people, technology and being able to showcase your systems, how you're going to generate buyer leads through technology could be a difference maker, could be that separator that gets you the deal.
Absolutely. And if not on the first appointment, certainly if that listing was an expired listing or a FSBO, 100%, I think that you could certainly show your value with the technology that you have especially if that first agent didn't have it. So it's an interesting topic there.
And her punchline is the companies that have made the client experience their prime focus are the ones that have gone the distance for decades, regardless of the technique changes or market shifts. And I just had a really prominent real estate coach share a stat with a small group of us recently that he's like, I had a question from an agent that says, Keller Williams is, I'm trying to recruit Keller Williams agents, but they're like, we've just got the best tech. We've got the best tech. But KW, who quote unquote, prides himself in having the best tech, has less than 30% agent adoption of that technology.
But I'm wondering though, is that the back end technology or is that like the marketing technology?
I think that was overall technology. I don't know if which one it was. But we know most brokerages are less than 20% adoption on their own CRMs, and I think CRMs is like less than 10. These numbers are very low.
Well, I think CRMs in general are underutilized, whether your brokerage is offering them or not.
So I would agree that this is not a racket, meaning technology is never the solution. But it's important to show exactly how it can help you get the job done, because the seller or the buyer ultimately cares about that. Show me an example of how you're going to get this deal done, how you've done it in the past, and how you're going to do it on this one. And if technology can aid you in showing exactly how you're going to do it, being clear on what you're going to do to the client, then I think it makes a lot of sense.
And you have to, though, too, because they're also on Facebook and wherever they may be, even just reading an article, and they're seeing other homes popping up on their screens while they're doing their online experience, and they're 100% going to want to know how they can get in front of those people, too. So I think it's super important, and I think you have to at least sort of weave it into your discussion, because
Because you're going to get asked the question.
Oh my God. Well, they want it. They want it. And if you're ignoring it and saying that you don't want to weave it in, it's really all over. So,
all right, racket number 2, how to recruit top talent like the big dogs. And this is part 1. This is
part 1.
Bernice again.
Mm-hmm.
So
look at you, Bernice.
Yeah, tearing it up.
Boss.
Yeah, part 1. So there's going to be a part 2 coming. So when we say like the big dogs, we're talking about producing agents in the market, right? People that are putting up numbers. And whether you're a small brokerage or an indie, there's no reason you can't compete with the leading national players, these big brands, when it comes to getting top talent. If you're one of these smaller brokers or indie shops, there's a bullet point list here in the article, which we're going to link up, of what you will need. And I can run through them real quick. Should I run through them?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the entire read is really good. It talks about lots of really great things. So yeah, you could read through them real quick. I mean, I think what's the most interesting there too, and we'll get to that obviously as we scroll down, is people think that agents are leaving brokerages for one reason, and that's really not the main reason.
Right. The number one. Yeah, that was interesting in this. The number one reason agents leave their current broker, and so everybody's guess is splits, right?
Of course, it's always about the money. Well, people think it's always about the money, but it's never about the money.
And the actual reason, she says, is my broker doesn't have enough time for me.
Right.
Right. So I would say that's a racket.
That is a racket.
Not a racket ultimately. When you go tried and true. And I think that's what she's talking about. Historically, that's the number one reason. If you look at
You're talking about like a single agent, like bopping around, if relying on their manager?
Well, it could be the manager, the mentor, the broker, the whoever.
Right. Okay.
If you look at a snapshot of just the last 4 years, right? This is 2019. If we go back to 2015-ish, then I would say the number one reason is not my manager or broker doesn't have enough time for me. It's the money, because there's been so many offers flying around. You've got companies like Compass just literally going into cities and just offering every top producer big money, and they're switching over. And I if you polled all of those top agents that switched over from company X over to Compass, I don't think too many of them be like, well, my manager didn't have a lot of time for me.
No, I agree. I mean, obviously, as you continue to read down, that was one of many. I mean, they're talking about. So they're talking about culture, they're talking about expertise, they're talking about systems in place, training.
And this is what you'll need, and going back to the bullet list here, this is what you'll need if you're going to be able to pull one of these top producing agents over to your team or your small brokerage. An understanding of what they really want from their broker. So is that individual, does that team want time, one-on-one time with the broker, the manager, whatever? 2, the profile of real estate sales success. So they want to know that this is a successful place. I can leverage that success. 3, a unique recruiting proposition, a URP that describes your brokerage strengths, culture, and the benefits that you will provide to the agent. 4, the right interview questions, right? That's super important. The interview process and making sure they're even a fit. And then 5, the answer to how joining your firm will provide the solution for the challenges that they face, which is why that interview process is so important. What challenges do you have right now as a producing agent? And then here are the reasons why they actually will leave their current broker. And so it's a family business, the family atmosphere, culture, all those things come into play. What I believe is going to come into play even more over the next 5 years is what she's talking about here, which is broker doesn't have enough time for me. People are going to require over the next 4, 5, 6 years in this business, real estate agents, new agents, agents that are on the come up, whatever. They're going to require more training. They're going to need more information. They're going to need to be with top salespeople in their marketplace that are bringing in leads in a down market, even more so. So they're not going to switch over the next 4 or 5 years over the splits like they have, in my opinion, over the last 4 or 5 years. They're going to go where it's safe, and they're going to go where their broker has their back and isn't blowing a bunch of smoke up their ass. Right. That's happening a lot.
Oh, well, and to be honest, though, I don't think much has really changed. I think that I mean, we see it sort of we see it every day here too. I mean, I think that a lot of people do still sort of, when you're a new agent, you join because of like the split, because you don't really know much else.
I see a lot of new agents not even know why they're joining places.
Well,
they don't even know.
Right. So, and I guess maybe split isn't really the right answer, because I feel like when you're a new agent, 99.9% of the time you're getting what you're getting, so no matter where you're going. But I think that people...
How about when you get the agent that says, oh, I got an offer. You didn't get an offer, dude. You didn't get an offer, okay? Every brokerage in town, you have a license. Every brokerage in town will let you have a seat.
Well, they want
everybody.
You
did not get an offer.
Right, everybody does want you. So, but I think that that's the most interesting thing, is that I think that getting into the business, you get. I think that there's just so many, like, assumptions of the business, and people get into the business assuming it's one way or thinking it's this way, or so when you're entering, and then once you get into it, I think the people that are actually legitimately sort of moving for the reasons that are documented in this article are the ones that are actually really looking to build a business. Like, they're not getting into it because, you know, their kids are off at school and they want to make some extra money, or hey, I'm this great influencer and I could make a bunch of money because I know all these people. Like, it's really like the people that are moving for these reasons are moving because they want to build a business, and they know that where they are is not supporting what they are doing, because they realize now, being in the business, that they sort of hopped in not knowing exactly. So
this article is geared towards top talent, people
absolutely.
That put up numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what is really important, I feel like, in my mind, to look at that, because I think if you're a new agent, maybe you should really sort of see what people are moving for, so that when you're getting into the game, you're not hung up on how much are you going to make, or, you know, you can start looking at what are they going to be offering me, how are they going to be able to support me, what kind of training that they have, because a lot of places say that they have training, and I feel like I made my decision mostly on training, but like I feel like it was like super lackluster, you know. They told me I could train at home, and as beautiful and great as that sounds, like that's not practical. Like, you can't just watch a video at home, you know. Right. So, but anyway, that's sort of my 2 cents. I think it's a great article. I think that there was tons of information,
and part 2 is coming. So
yeah, I'm curious to see what they say next. But anyway, that's me.
All right, racket number 3, the most expensive home in America just sold. It was New York City, and it sold for $238 million. Is this a racket? Is that sales price a racket?
I think it's flipping awesome. I think the best part of the whole article is the gentleman has lots of money. He's actually bought another home in, I believe it was Chicago. He bought it just for when he comes to New York.
Yeah, this is just for when I stop into New York.
For a place for him to stay.
I don't think it's going to be his permanent residence.
I don't think that it is. But bravo. I mean, that's 24,000 square feet of penthouse living right across from Central Park. Yep, I'm not a city gal, so that doesn't impress me much. But I would definitely, I would take a visit. I got to see what that money bought.
Billionaire and hedge fund manager Ken Griffin just cemented the most expensive real estate purchase in the U.S. 220 Central Park South penthouse is now the most
but you could run into
expensive
Sting.
in
You could run into
America's
Sting
history.
while you're in there, though. That's kind of cool.
Dude's worth $10 billion.
Yeah, I mean,
just for his personal use when he's in New York. No big deal, guys.
No big deal.
This is 24,000 square feet, 2 floors. I think it was a combo of how many units did you?
I didn't see that in there. What the combo was.
Earlier this year, he bought 7 floors of a Chicago condo for $58 million.
Yeah, that was actually, I feel like that's about 7 floors. I mean,
here's something.
Do you have like staff? Like, you must have staff on
Here's something that's interesting, right? This dude's a hedge fund manager, and he's taking his cash and he's putting it into big luxury purchases of real estate. There's a lot of people that still believe luxury real estate in this country is completely underpriced. If you look at luxury prices in London.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So
they were saying even Japan, like there's larger numbers happening in Japan at the end of the article, and then there was another.
Yeah, huge numbers in different parts of the country.
Hong Kong and France.
Right. This is
still below listings in Hong Kong and France.
New York is still no, even though it's so expensive, it's still on a luxury level underpriced in some people's minds. So maybe he's like just like, dude, this is a great buy, where I think it's not going to work out so well for him in the short term. You're talking about 24,000 square feet that he is now customizing furniture for. And so if he's got like some super specific taste, that's where it gets a little dicey. Because
It's-
24,000 square feet's a lot of renovating when your taste sucks.
Right. Well, you're assuming his taste sucks. But what's
I'm
really
not assuming,
interesting,
just saying
and I
if
don't
it
mean
did.
I don't even mean to like bring in another article because I'm not even gonna, but maybe we could talk about it next episode. Because there was an article actually, I think that it was in Inman or Realtor, because I don't remember. They were talking about the people that are making multiple moves in shorter periods of time are actually making more money than like long term. So it might be a little piggyback onto that
Multiple
one.
moves in shorter periods, multiple buy and sell.
Yeah. Like multiple, like you stay in house for 2 years instead of 20. Those
See,
people,
on this deal here, you got to stay a little longer term. I think.
well, that or maybe,
not, though. I
that
don't know.
or like in all honesty, what I'm thinking is you have multiple floors, multiple you split those up like 7 floors.
That's
Are
in
all-
Chicago.
Like you, yeah, but like are they 7 floors currently, or did he buy 7 floors and he's putting them together? Because if there's 7
He's got
floors,
an elevator.
well,
He's
no,
not going from like. you know,
no. My point is though, is if
This isn't like his house in the Guilford Green.
if the one,
Like,
my point is if he bought 1 unit at $58 million and it includes already 7 floors, just split it up. Now you have 7 units because you have different. I mean,
I don't think when you get to that point, I don't think you want a lot of people close to you there. So.
maybe not. So, whatever.
Congrats to
Yeah.
Mr. Griffin. Certainly, if you've got an article you want us to address, drop it in the comments, or any topic for that matter. Please post it in the comments. I did see, by the way, some thumbs down on the video where I called out, give us some thumbs down. So thank you guys for a few of those thumbs.
That's nice.
Yeah, they listened.
Congratulations on that.
So we'll take some thumbs up
Feels
this
good.
time, actually. A couple shares wouldn't hurt. If you're enjoying this content, certainly share it with a friend who's in the real estate game.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Keep it
Okay.
real, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Keep it real.